Don't you just love when you get brand new clear ballistics gel? It's so clear, you can see right through it. And in this gel test, I'm going to be shooting through this brand new clear ballistics gel with this. This is the 62 grain controlled chaos from Underwood ammo. In the video I did right up here, where I tested out the 3 different versions of Spear Gold Dot in 223, I came to the conclusion that the 62 grain is the best. And that kind of lines up with what I've seen other people do, kind of specifically Andrew from the Chopping Block YouTube channel and ARFCOM, I think is the name of the YouTube channel he does a lot of gel tests on too. Probably hundreds of gel tests. He kind of knows what he's talking about. But medium weight, so like 62, 64 grain bonded soft points, tend to perform really well. However, I wanted to give this Underwood ammo load a shot. 62 grain controlled chaos. The controlled chaos is, I believe, a solid copper bullet. I'll link in the description an article talking about some of the pros and the cons of solid copper bullets, because I believe there are pros and cons. It's not just all good. But I figured I'd give this load a shot, considering I really like the Underwood Extreme Defender in 9mm, which I've also done a couple tests on. You should go check those out as well, right up here. But I like the Underwood loadings in 9mm. Their Extreme Defender is great, so I figured I'll give this Controlled Chaos a shot, see if it can rival or maybe even dethrone the 62 grain Gold Dot as my preferred self-defense, home defense 223 load. Stepped off to about 5 yards. I got the 62 grain controlled chaos, as you can see. If not, I'll get a better picture. But nickel plated case, solid copper bullet, coming out of a 16-inch ballistic advantage barrel. Got my chronograph set up. Hopefully, it'll actually record something. See what happens. 2750, I believe, is the velocity. Okay, so interesting results. Not quite what I expected, but let's check overall penetration. Overall penetration, it looks like right at 21 inches. Has, I see, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, miscounted there for a second, but I see 4 petals that flaked off of the main core of the bullet. It looks like they flaked off 3 inches in, and the petals stopped penetrating at 8.5 is the farthest in, and like 6 3/4 is the shallowest. Measure the neck. The neck, for the record, being basically on the bullet track, the distance between where it first enters the ballistic gel, in this case, but tissue, and it starts to really do a lot of permanent damage or expand or fragment or anything like that. There's a pretty distinct neck here, about 1.5 inches of just nothing happening before it starts to really blow up. And it does a lot of its, as far as the permanent cavity, that the quote unquote permanent cavity, ballistics gel doesn't show permanent cavity super well. And on top of that, this is clear ballistics gel, so this is even a little different again than organic gel. But it looks like about 1.5 inches, like where the neck ends, out to 10 inches is where it starts to really do a lot of its damage. After that, it again becomes, it looks like just like a normal thin little 22 caliber wound track until it comes to stop at 21 inches. So, some final thoughts on the 62 grain controlled chaos load from Underwood. For one, it just now occurs to me they quote 3100 FPS. I got little bit lower than that, but that's probably because they use like a 24-inch bolt gun to get the highest possible velocities for advertising. But that aside, what do I think about the controlled chaos load? It didn't do anything wrong for the most part. Is it going to, like I said in the little intro bit, is it going to unseat the 62 grain gold dot, which is my preferred like home defense sort of load? No, but it also didn't do anything wrong. It overpenetrated a little more than I want. However, I would personally have a little too much penetration than not quite enough. For the very simple reason that I believe overpenetration is something to consider, but I also think it's way overhyped. I personally can't really find any instances of a lawful civilian self-defense shooting where a third party bystander is hit and seriously injured. I can't really find any. If you can link an article or something about it in the comments, but so I think it's vastly overhyped for how often it actually happens. So I'd rather have a load that penetrates a little too much than not quite enough. Given that, the controlled chaos didn't do anything exactly wrong. Penetrated a little too much, but that's fine. But that's not the end of the world. The flakes that came off, they got to about 8 inches. I don't know how much that's gonna really affect things in the very immediate uh, couple minutes, probably that a self defense encounter is taking place. Will they over time cause that person those extra wound tracks? Will it cause that person to get an infection, or will it cause them to bleed out? Yes, but I don't know if they penetrated deep enough to change things in the very immediate aftermath of a self-defense sort of encounter. So, did the controlled chaos take the place as my favorite load? No. Did it do anything exactly wrong? I don't think so. I think it'd be perfectly fine if you choose to run this. I'm personally going to stick with my 62 grain gold dot, but the 62 grain controlled chaos from Underwood seems like a perfectly fine load, if you ask me. You enjoyed the video, you found it informative, entertaining, give me a thumbs up. I appreciate it. Tell me in the comments down below what you thought of the load, of the controlled chaos load. If you want to see more content like this in the future, so go ahead and if you want to see more content like this in the future, go ahead and subscribe. It means a lot to me. I'm the Cock 131. Signing off. I'm really bad at this.